Hi everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story. I know we have quite the bold, beautiful cloth back again, but I have been struggling my way through the Thoth deck walkthrough. Not because it's a struggle, but because I have so much information going on in my brain right now, and because it's very hard to stay very succinct because there's so much information. So trying to keep it as a walkthrough was very, very difficult for me. So anyways, that I have the second part exporting, so that will be uploading tonight. But so I just haven't changed the cloth because that's what I had for the Thoth. Now today is day number 29, or I should say tonight is number 29, and this is kind of just taking a breath and talking about the benefit that we got out of the month. I kind of did that yesterday. I did the 6 card based on like what have I learned from this, so I've kind of already done that. So I'm just using tonight just as a real quick video to say, people, we have made it to the point of the grand tableau. How exciting is that? I am excited because I love grand tableaus, because it's like this one beautiful, fantastic puzzle to work with. And so it thrills me to no end. But I just wanted to say to everybody who is going to maybe attempt to do a grand tableau for the first time tomorrow, to not worry about it, to not stress about it, that all will be well, that you do not have to perfect an entire grand tableau. You just have to lay one out and look at a 9 card if you want. Now, if you want to try something more than that, you can. But it's not necessary. It's just necessary to break the stigma of feeling like the grand tableau is just craziness, right? So I'm just going to show you, just in case, we do have some people that are completely new to Lenormand. And so the glory that is Lenormand, in my opinion, centers around the grand tableau. It is the key feature of the system. It is the just wonderful aspect of the whole system. And so, it's sort of, I think, everybody's goal to get to that point where you're putting all the cards down, whether you're, looking at big things or little things, whole things or just pieces. Being able to really see where the cards end up in relationship to each other is just a huge component of Lenormand. And so this is exciting, people. No stress. It's just exciting. There are 2 traditional ways to lay down a Lenormand grand tableau. And what a grand tableau is, it just means taking all 36 of these cards and laying them on the table. Now, this is a mini deck, and because this is one of the benefits of a mini deck is that you can get it into a relatively small space. So that's why I do think it's, if you can find a way to get yourself one mini deck, it is helpful. Now again, if I wasn't in a recording video, then most Lenormand decks are small enough where you're going to be able to get it all in to a nice sized table, other than a couple crazy ones like the Pagan Lenormand, then stuff that are just outrageously huge. But other than that, usually you can still do that with a decent space, but the minis really do take care of space issues. So what you're going to do is you're going to shuffle just like normal. Now, one nice thing to do, you can, if you split, is to kind of split your cards and look. This is a new thing I've learned that I've quite enjoyed. So here we have the fish. It's abundant knowledge. So if we're still talking about what in ways has the last month helped us, we've gotten abundant knowledge, and that's fantastic. So there's 2 ways I'm going to show you real quick that you would lay out the grand tableau. You would do 4 rows of 8, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? And then we're going to carry on. If you're like me and you're going to photograph this for a client, then you're going to take a little time to be very neat and just kind of straighten everything out. But since I'm going to be taking this all back up again to show you the other way, But you can see you kind of go like a typewriter. You go across and then you start the next row. Go start the next row, start the next row. And then when you get to the bottom, you put the final 4 cards like this. And this is a very traditional grand tableau that you'll see called like the 8x4 plus 4. So it's an 8x4, so 4 rows of 8 cards, and then we have the extra 4 down here. And so when you read the corners of this, so just a very standard practice is, okay, read the first 3 cards as sort of a main thing going on here. Read the 4 corners, so you would read, well, I read this corner to this corner to this corner, and kind of read it as a bump, 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 bump. So you'd look there. In this one, I would also look to these 4 center cards here are also important cards to look at. And then these 4 at the bottom are important messages here. And then you would start picking out, okay, here's the woman. I'm going to look at the cards around here. Oh, we want to look at work. Okay, well, here's the cards surrounding the anchor card that are touching the anchor card, and start to read from there. So this is an 8x4 plus 4. Now, well, I guess I really don't have to take these all up. Let's just cheat a little. So the other way to do it is a 9x4, and I often do this for space. And in some ways, I started this way. This is how I learn. So here we have 4, and 4 is 8, 9. So we have 4 rows of 9 cards. So you say, oh, but you've lost your 4 essence cards on the bottom, which we'll talk a little bit more about tomorrow when I walk through a whole grand tableau. They're still there. They're right there in the middle. This is nice. I like this one because also if you're breaking up in seasons for like things, then you can kind of calendar-wise, I break this up as winter and summer, or winter and spring and summer and fall. That's just how I tend to, if I'm doing something like that, which I don't do a lot, but sometimes with the year head spreads, we'll also do this kind of thing. So that's there. You've got your corners, so I would go to here, from here to here. You've got your corners there. You've got your first 3 cards. You even have your 4 cards right here that are in basically the middle, because these are sort of like the essence cards at the bottom. So everything that you have in the other format, you have here. I don't particularly like, let's say when I have the woman that's down here. Okay, let me pull these back. Or when the woman kind of shows up down here, and then you've got these kind of weird conflagrations. You've got these sort of weird things that kind of end up. It's just a personal preference. I use them both. Most of it, I pretty much learned off of the 9x4. That's what I used exclusively. And then I went and switched it to the 8x4 plus 4. And I like it, but I do tend to gravitate back to this. Again, because of the way my camcorder viewfinder is, everything, especially if I'm doing it neatly, and if I'm using larger cards, the 9x4, everything just fits in my viewfinder. And I do most of my grand tableaus as video readings, and so it's just, you know, practical matters such as that. So I tend to go in this particular format for the most part, but there are times in which I will just randomly decide I want to do the 8x4 plus 4, but mostly here we have it like here. So very easy to lay out. Those are the 2 patterns that you're going to see for the grand tableau. Kipper does it in a little bit of a different way, but we won't confuse things with the beloved, wonderful Kipper cards, will we? So that's really, this is a really short one, just to say congratulations for making it this far, and to say don't be nervous about your grand tableau. Just get it out there. Nothing huge has to happen. Get it all laid out. Look for your significator card. Just look for yourself, man or woman, or whatever it is that you want to look. If you want to kind of look at what it has to teach you, you could look to the book card and see what are the cards touching it. And you can just stop there. Or you can be brave and look at the first 3 cards and then look at the corners there and just kind of get a little idea of what the theme is. But tomorrow I will be walking like all the way through a grand tableau, and So, and I will use an actual question and things, and so do a full walkthrough on a regular grand tableau in two part. I think, what do we have? We have 2 days of the grand tableau, which is important. Yes. So we're going to, tomorrow I'm going to walk through sort of the basic ideas, looking at the cards around it, looking at the corners and these kinds of things. And then the next day we're going to go back to that same spread and look at different significators, and I'll show you a couple other tricks like knighting and following threads and things like that, just to sort of whet your appetite of other things that you can do. And one of the things that I do is if I'm going to have 2 days on a grand tableau, which happens sometimes with my larger readings, once I've laid all the cards out and I still need obviously my table space, I just pick them up in order, and so that the next day I can go back and lay them down in order again. And I usually just stick a sticky on it to let myself know that that's a reading, an in progress reading, and things then work out just fine. So that's just a little tip there. So this is a little quickie to say yay that we got this far. Thank you all for sticking with me. And now we're going to get to the fun stuff. So I'll talk to you tomorrow.